Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Monday's edition of High Five, where we come up higher to the things of God. One of the things that the Lord asked us to do is watch and pray. There are so many things to watch and pray, but do we really know what to watch and pray? Because we need to align with His prophetic timing. When the Magi came to Jerusalem and said, "Where's He that is born the King of the Jews?" We saw His star and we came to worship Him. Do you know the people in Jerusalem weren't looking? They were not looking for they were in a survival mode. And I think that's what's happening with the church today. A lot of them are in a survival mode, and they're not looking for the coming of the Lord. When I first heard that there's going to be a crown for those who love His appearing, I thought everybody's going to get that. But you know what? There are not a lot of people that are loving His appearing. They're in a survival mode. So I'm going to be teaching you for the next couple of weeks on the signs in the heavens and God's prophetic signpost. And, in Revelation 3:1, Jesus said to the church of Sardis, He said, I know your works, that you have a name, that you are alive, but you are dead. Be watchful and strengthen the things that remain, that you would be ready that are ready to die, for I have not found your works perfect before God. This is the dead church, and a lot of I remember hearing a story of a little boy that had been raised in a evangelical Christian church all his life, and he went to they went to a function at a church where they had Jesus on the cross and He was hanging there dead. And he said, "Mommy," he started crying. He wanted to leave. He said, "Mommy, Jesus is dead in this church." And there's a lot of dead churches. that Jesus isn't alive in those churches. But we want you to strengthen those things that remain. Revelation 16:15 says, Jesus said, "Behold, I'm coming as a thief. Blessed is he who watches and keeps his garment, lest he walk naked and see his shame." Back then, they had watchmen on the wall. Those watchmen on the wall didn't just look for the enemy, but they looked for signs in the heavens, and they would record the signs in the heavens. And what would happen is the head of the watchman would come out, and if he found anyone asleep, he would set his clothes on fire, and that watchman would have to go naked. That's what Jesus is referring to there. That He wants us to be watchmen on the wall. He wants us to watch for things. But what are we going to watch for? Watch means it's in Greek, the Greek word for it is Gregorio, and it means to give strict attention to and take heed. And this is found in many places in the New Testament. But one of the first things that we're supposed to watch for, number one, we have a GPS in our car, in our phone, and it tells us where to go, where our destination, how far have we got to go there. And once it'll say 16 miles. We were on a trip yesterday. It's 16 miles. You go on 45 till you hit I-10. That didn't mean we were at our destination. That was the next signpost. And God's prophetic signpost, the number one thing He has from the very beginning is in Genesis 1:14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament that of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons, for days and for years." Now, that signs, that's ot, and that means a distinguishing mark, an omen, a warning, a remembrance. So God is original billboard advertiser. He will have signs in the heavens to tell you as a warning what is happening. And seasons, that word seasons is moedim. These are fixed appointed time on God's prophetic calendar. Now God has a prophetic calendar, and on that the feast of the Lord is the same word there as seasons. We think as feast of the Lord, we think that these are like Thanksgiving and Christmas, where you just eat and eat and eat. No, these are not feast to gorge yourself. These are fixed appointed time on God's calendar. And on Passover, they celebrated that from Exodus chapter 12. They celebrated Passover all those years from Genesis chapter 12 to when Jesus actually fulfilled it. And so they were rehearsals, dress rehearsals. That's what a convocation stands for. And tomorrow we're going to get into the next part of it. God bless. Bye-bye.